So, do you guys remember everything from the last class? So, what we will do in this class is reconnect this chapter. I think we have done about 5 shlokas probably in this chapter with the comprehensive theory of karma that we studied last time. And then, we will know what the questions were from Arjuna's side and what Krishna is saying. And, it will all make sense within that karma theory. So, before we do that, let me quiz you on what we learned last time. Right? Are you guys ready for a quiz? Okay. How many individual? What is the locus or center of karma? It's the individual, right? How many types? How many types of karmendriyas are there through which karma is expressed? Oh, good. 6. Okay, so 5 karmendriyas, bodily karmendriyas, and 1 manas, right? And then it can be grouped into how many? I'm showing now. Grouped into 3. Which is what? No. Expressions. Actions. 3. Correct, right? Manasika, Vachika, Daihika. Bodily, Daihika, Vachika, through your voice, and then Manasika, which is your thoughts and your desires in the mind, right? So these are the 3. That is the output side. The input side. What are the 3 causes of karma? Daiva, Purushakara, and Hata. Right? So everybody remembers Hata. Right? What is Daiva? Yeah, luck in the sense that your own karma, the fruits of which gets manifested in this life. That is Daiva. That means basically luck, fortune, all of those things. That means those things that you do not control in your life, where you find yourself in, where you are born, times in which you are born, friend circles you have, all the things that you don't control that happens to you, every one of those is what? Daiva. That is your own previous actions, the fruits of it come now. So that's Daiva. What is Purushakara? Human effort, right? Human effort. And then Hata. What is Hata? Yeah, but what Hata? What exactly is that? It's your nature. It's your innate nature. That is the nature that not comes from you, not just the personality that you pick up from environment. It is the one that actually comes from within your being, the jiva. That is the jiva swabhava. So any action that you do always has 3 causes, right? But Daiva is always influencing what the Purushakara does, right? And I gave you the analogy of what? A person rowing the boat in the ocean. The wind is Daiva. That means it can be blowing towards where you want to go or away from where you want to go, right? So when it is blowing towards, your effort, which is rowing, which is the Purushakara, will become very less, right? Otherwise, the effort has to be a lot more to reach the destination. And Hata is what? The endurance of that effort. How long do you endure in your efforts to go to your goal becomes your Hata. That means if it is really, the desire comes from within your being, then you will never give that up. You will always go back to it. It's like the tail of the dog. You cannot never straighten it. It's Hata. That means you'll always eventually end up that same way. Right? So that's Daiva, Purushakara, and Hata. They are the 3 of them, right? Now Daiva. What are the 3 kinds of Daiva? Drida, Adrida, Drida, Drida. Okay? What is Adrida? That means that actions. See, okay, I'll come to that later. But those fruits of actions of Adrida are those fruits of actions that human efforts can change. That is Adrida. That means it is not fixed. That means if the fortune is bringing you bad luck, your effort can override it. Right? You can actually override and eliminate that. Overcome it. That is called as Adrida. Drida means in between. That is, it is fixed and also not fixed, in the sense that you need a lot more effort to overcome what your luck is bringing you, what Daiva is bringing you. You can probably minimize it, but not overcome it. It will at least be minimized by your effort. But Drida means whatever you do, it is bound to happen, no matter what. Drida karma. That means those karmas that you have done, that are so bad, that any effort that you do in this life, you will have to experience the fruits of that karma. That is Drida. Yeah. Prarabdha comes in 3. Right? Adrida, your human effort can overcome that thing. Drida, you need a lot more effort to minimize it, may not go, completely. And Drida means that which you will have to suffer to burn it. 3 of them, right? And these all come from what? Your prarabdha. What is prarabdha? Your past actions that has manifested, right? Your past actions, the storehouse of your past actions is what? Sanchita, right? So Sanchita means it contains all the desires, right? And the fruits of actions. What is the fruit of action? When I say fruit of action, what is the fruit? What is the fruit of action?
Either good or bad.
No. What is a fruit? Huh? No. A fruit is an experience, right? A fruit is either pain or comfort. That's about it. That is a fruit. Your effort is there. The fruit it brings to you is either it comforts you or it pains you. So, fruits are only either comfort or pain or hardship. Hardship or comfort. That's it. That's what fruit is, right? So, fruit of action means the hardships if you are created to somebody, right, intentionally, that hardship comes and manifests in your life, in different avenues of your life. That means your experience in your life will be painful. That is what a fruit is. Karma, Sanchita karma, contains all the fruits of all our past actions that are both comforts and hardships. And I said, how many lives does it take to clear off your Sanchita karma? If you don't generate any new thing now, how many lifetimes would it take?
Depends on how many billions you have.
No, infinite. There's no beginning. Right? Hundreds of millions, if not billions, of things, of karma, that are there in the storehouse.
The humans born in the last 10,000 years.
No, it's not humans. It's beings, right? It can be animals, insects, plants, everything. Right? And it's a cycle. They're born again and again. So that it takes hundreds of millions of lifetimes, if not billions of lifetimes, to clear your Sanchita karma. Right? And now that is the problem which Arjuna is talking about. So we'll come there. So, of which not everything can be experienced at the same time in one life. So what the universe does is it manifests a part of this into your life. That means all the desires that you have will never die. Until it gets cleared in this life, the desire will always continue. The desire that you have had in the countless innumerable lives before, they will always be there, and in your different lifetimes, those become dominating in your life. Right?
You said the karma theory applies only to human beings, not to animals, right?
No, karma theory applies to everybody. But agami karma is not there for animals. Karma theory is for any chetana. Karma is there for any chetana. That means any living being.
If the animals are not creating agami, so they won't have any sanchita.
Why not? They were not animals all the time, right? So at some point of time, karma is always there. I mean, we are talking about infinity in the past. So, it's infinity in the future, infinity in the past. So there is no starting point from which everything got created. No, there's nothing. As you go in the past, you'll always be going. There's always a cycle. That's what is a cycle. That means there's no beginning or end. Right? So that Sanchita karma can never be cleared. Right? That means you need hundreds of lives without generating anything new. It's impossible. And then Prarabdha karma is that Sanchita karma, those desires that have not been cleared in your life, that appear again and again as dominating your life. So if you have 1 million desires, right, one of those desires become manifest in this life, and that will become the one that drives your life. That is what you will live for, right? And then if that is not cleared in this life, and that is still persists, then that goes again into the storehouse and appears again and again and again and again until either it dies down or not. Right? It just goes on and on. Desire until it is cleared is always there in Sanchita Karma. The same with the fruit of action. Unless you burn it with experience or through wisdom. Right? Wisdom, your Sanchita Karma will never go. There are only two ways to burn karma. Either through experience or through knowledge. That's it. There is no other way to do it. Right? So, that is the storehouse of karma. Prarabdha karma is just one fraction of that for one life that it manifests. And then, and then you generate more. On the other side where you are generating karma, what are the three kinds of karma you are doing? Right? You are doing three kinds of something that you do yourself directly. So that is swa, samyoga, paraspara. That means I do the action myself. That is swakarma. That means I go and hit somebody myself. That becomes my swakarma. That means my daihika, manasika, everything is to me. I pay somebody to have somebody thrashed. That means it becomes my manasika karma or vachika karma as well. And then the person who actually does it becomes their daihika karma. It's a samyoga. That means partnership. Paraspara means if I support somebody to do something, or if I do something, as a karma, as an investment. That means I open an education center and offer free education, and there are a lot of people, a lot of students who go through that, and they go on and do very good things in this world. The karma that you have done will come as those investments that you have done. The fruits will come over time, over generations, over a long time. That is called paraspara karma. That is the most powerful. That means look at both positive and negative, right? People who commit genocides, they have destroyed generations, and it's not just the one that you did now that is the fruit of that going to haunt you. It is all the things that it creates over time, and the investments that it's doing.
Chain reaction.
The chain reaction. You are responsible for the chain reaction. So, you're not just responsible. You cannot say, I didn't do it. If somebody did it, I don't care. No. That becomes your paraspara karma. Right? If you support something, then you become a samyogi or a paraspara karma. Right? So, karma generates in all these ways. Not just you doing, others doing for you, you supporting somebody else. All of this become, but even though it is divided among people, you get karmas. And karma is not just when you are there. Even after you die, the good and bad investments you have done through paraspara karma keeps on giving the fruits to you. Right?
Compounding.
Compound interest, yeah, all compound interest, right? So,
One question. So, when you say you can overcome only by knowledge or experience, can you overcome Drida karma?
no, Drida karma is only through experience. Right? Drida karma is
With knowledge.
no, you cannot.
When you say knowledge,
See, prarabdha karma can never be destroyed. That means it's already manifest. Only when I said that, knowledge can only destroy sanchita karma. That means that which is unmanifest. That which is already manifest, if it is drida, you will have to experience it. There is no other way. That is why people who have visions of God, they actually, again, take a couple of lives to clear all of those things before they become muktas. Right? So that is your prarabdha is still there and they are druda. That means it cannot be shaken. So they come back. Sometimes they take all the tortures to make it fast, so it can get cleared faster for them to leave the imprisonment of nature. Right? So they do all this stuff. So prarabdha can never be destroyed. It can either be experienced to burn out. Right? I mean, it can only be experienced to burn out if it is drida. If it is adrida, your knowledge and your efforts can overcome it. Right? So that is this side. So on the paraspara and samyoga and all that, we saw that. Now agami. Right? What is agami?
One question on that. When you say by knowledge, can you more detail on that. What do you mean by knowledge only? Does that include bhakti and all?
Yeah. Bhakti and knowledge always go together, right? So bhakti is experience. Knowledge is a lock. So, knowledge is a key that opens the lock. Bhakti and experience. That's the next chapter. So we'll do. Whenever I say knowledge, it is always jnana purvaka bhakti. It is not pure emotionalism. That's why I show this, right? All the three together. Only one is useless. This becomes very superstitious or just, emotionalism. We don't need emotionalism. Right? And then again, karma, you need knowledge to do karma correctly. Right? And knowledge, you need karma to express, otherwise you become an armchair, intellectual. You just keep writing in papers and that's it, nothing. So all the three need to come together. Jnana, karma, bhakti. Right? Head, hand and heart. Right? All the three. So when I say knowledge, we are talking about knowledge and karma. So when I say knowledge, it means knowledge and bhakti. Jnana and bhakti together. Because jnana without bhakti is not jnana. Bhakti without jnana is not bhakti. So both together. Right? So that is there. And then agami karma. What is agami karma? It means what you are generating now. Right? Through your desires. Right? First of all, what is karma? Is it action or desire? Huh? No, karma. What is karma?
It's action driven by desire.
Correct. Action driven, right? If I'm breathing, it's not karma. Even though it is karma in the literary sense, right? I'm doing karma, even though I'm not doing karma. Which means, even though I don't have any intention or desire driving my breathing, it is still karma in the language sense. In the philosophical sense, karma is that which is driven by a desire. An intent. Without intent, there is no karma. It is not called karma in the Gita or the philosophical Upanishad sense. Okay? So that is karma. Now, agami karma means what? That which comes from the desires that I currently have. So can my prarabdha generate my agami? Or not? No. If your previous karma can generate your future karma, then there will be no end at all.
But our previous karma is what we are doing right now. They tell us whether we are how's our purusharth going to be.
Correct.
So our current desires are going to be based on that.
Correct. So your current desire is the one that is going to create your agami karma, not your past. Right? So purushakara is the only cause of your agami karma, not your prarabdha. Prarabdha will influence, it's like habit, right? The habit is always having an influence on what you do now, right? But you cannot freely do something now because your habits are overpowering you and taking you in a direction to do something else. But what you do is your desire that you generate now. That is a purushakara, that's human effort, right? But if your karma is very bad in the past, that clouds everything that you do, that you don't know what to do.
Even the purushakara is clouded by...
Correct. That's why there is no concept of free will.
The direction you take.
Exactly. So when I say purushakara, I don't say free will, because free will is a Christian concept where it says you can make a decision freely without any bias. You cannot. Because there is always three causes acting simultaneously at all point of time. That means any time you take a decision, it is based on your context in where you are born. I am born here, then I can think in those terms. If I am born in Middle East, I will think in those terms. Right? That is what your prarabdha has created. Right? Your decision is not free. Your decision comes from within the environment in which you were formed, where you're nurtured. Right?
Experiences.
Exactly. All of those experiences, all of those things make what you are. But still, purushakara is that desire that drives your action heavily influenced by your prarabdha. Right? But still, purushakara effort can overcome prarabdha if it is adrida or drida. It can still do that. But it is not free. It is always carrying the baggage of prarabdha karma. And hata. Hata is always there. It is common across all the birds. But your purushakara is where the desires get generated, new desire get generated, that forms your agami karma. Your prarabdha, your past cannot create your future action. That means there will be no end at all if that happens. So your future actions are only created by your present desire, what you desire. Your past only comes as an influence, not as an actor. It's not an actor. It's an influence on you as an actor.
So if you see something bad and you do not act, that also causes you karma.
It does, yeah. So karma doesn't mean acting. Even, not acting when you are supposed to act becomes a bad karma. Right? That is why karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sangha astu akarmani. Don't keep quiet, he says. Because that is even bad karma. So, that is what the whole chapter is about, right? If doing action is what karma is, then if I don't do anything, then I am not generating karma. But in Krishna says, in philosophical terms, that is not true. Even if you don't do something, you are generating bad karma.
So if I'm driving, I see a beggar asking for money, right? I don't do anything. I just drive.
No, that is, I know. See, there are so many things that are happening and you cannot get involved in everything, right? That's why sadhana is always to take the first small step. Right? If you're worried about all those things, or so many things I'm doing, then, you cannot do any sadhana. You have to start off and then, remember that they'll all go to Sanchita, which can be burnt anyway with wisdom. Unless you don't get wisdom, then that's a problem.
So, somebody is doing a good act or bad act. What proportion of it is actually Purushakara and how much is the Hatha? And
Yeah, it depends. Right?
anyway, everything is mixed there, right?
Yeah, it's all mixed, yes. It's all mixed.
Yeah, so
See, but you can see what is the first principle of Sankhya? Deha and Atma are different, right? That means Purushakara comes from your Atma, not from the Deha. Prarabdha comes from the Deha, right? So nature creates this body, nature creates everything that we are in, but nature does not create Atma. Atma is unborn, right? That means nature cannot touch it. Nature can show something which can influence, right? See, the problem with samsara is nature has not grabbed us. We have grabbed nature. Right?
So even the thoughts are nature, right?
Yeah, thoughts are nature. Everything, yeah. Everything is, nature, right? Until ahankara, chitta, everything is part of nature. We are using nature to express ourselves. Otherwise, Atma has no karanas, no organs.
Physical manifestation.
Yeah, there's no physical manifestation in Atma, right? And there's no connection between Atma and Prakriti. They are not connected. One is seeing the other, that's all. Right? So what Prakriti is doing, Prakriti is throwing, masks. And then it is creating a lot of desire in you so that you wear that mask and you act the part. Right? So when you wear that mask, you become a part of that. But the people, who can actually observe all those things going across, that's why Gunatita is, you'll see that in the later chapters. When Guna is happening in the body, right, you still have the power to not act on it and just observe it.
Detach yourself.
Detachment, right? That's what detachment is. So you still have the power to detach yourself and observe nature. But that takes sadhana. Right? But if you don't have sadhana, what you'll do, once it comes up in the body, you go attach yourself and act like that. Right? So that is where Purushakara and Daiva and Hatha, all of them come together. In animals, there is no detachment at all. Whatever nature throws, instinct, it goes and grabs it and acts. Right? In man, we have this power to detach and look at what nature is doing. So prarabdha, we can actually look at prarabdha without indulging in it whenever it throws up something. Right? That's the attached detachment. So that is what it is, right? So we talked about agami karma. So agami karma becomes your sanchita karma. Right? So this is the whole theory, right? Okay, then if you have understood it, then I'll ask you one question. There is one person who tortures himself and kills himself, commits suicide. Is it an agami karma or a prarabdha karma? He's torturing with intention.
Agami.
We don't know what the conditions are. What causes him to kill himself?
He hates himself. He hates himself, he's depressed, he tortures himself, and then finally kills himself. So is that killing an agami karma? Because there is desire. He desires to hurt, but he desires to hurt himself. So is that agami karma? Or is that prarabdha karma that it is causing him to do that?
Influence of prarabdha karma. Influence of prarabdha karma.
Right?
Agami karma also involved in it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, both are together. Right? Prarabdha karma has caused this state of, because see, I said prarabdha karma is always experience. So when you are experiencing pain, it is always prarabdha karma that is doing. When you are desiring, it is always agami karma that is generating. Two things. Your experience, the torture that he is experiencing in the life is his prarabdha karma. And the desire to hurt himself and damage himself,
As a result of that.
the desire that is being generated as a result, that becomes your agami karma. So once you know the comprehensive karma theory, you should be able to answer all these. Right? All these questions. Where does confession come? I'm a Christian, I go and say, I've done all this, I've led a sinful life, but I confess. Then what happens? Where does confession come? Somebody asked the question. You asked the question, right?
It's a psychological
Yes.
thing, you feel better after telling all this.
Yeah, but in karma theory, what happens? If somebody commits murder, right, that means he had, all his life he had committed all heinous crimes, all agami karmas are there, then in the end, agami karma, that he's done all of those things, then in the end he goes and confesses and says, I'm sorry. What happens? I mean, he really feels, I'm not talking about lip service, I'm saying,
Repentance.
really repents for it.
Repents for it.
Okay.
He starts agami karma and he wants to start experiencing prarabdha.
No, he's suffering, he's having mental
it comes
torture.
from prarabdha.
So he's suffering as well.
No, he's suffering, correct. But what happens to his agami karma? In Christianity, his slate is wiped clean.
So it will not be wiped. He still has to learn.
Exactly. Right?
It's not.
There is no confession, there is something called prayaschitta. Have you heard about prayaschitta? So prayaschitta is there, and each of those actions have prayaschitta. Prayaschitta is not confessing or repenting, atoning for it. Right? So it means you undergo voluntarily hardships to undo the karma. If I just say something,
penance, basically. Like a
exactly, penance, right? You have to atone for your bad deeds. Otherwise, whatever you go and confess, nothing will happen. It has to be prayaschitta, not confession. Prayaschitta. Prayaschitta means voluntary atonement for the bad deeds that you have done in the past.
driven by the feeling of repentance.
Of the repentance, correct. Being driven by the feeling of repentance for what you've done. Valmiki, for example, Valmiki, all of them have done prayaschitta to clear their karmas.
But what is the benefit of that? Will that intensity come down?
Oh, definitely, right? When you do the prayaschitta, the fruits will lose, they go away, yeah. Because you're voluntarily atoning for those sins. I shouldn't even say sins, but for papa karma. But so, yeah, it goes away. That's what prayaschitta is. Yeah. But if you're not done...
Will you go away within this lifetime or would they...
No, it's not. Any of the things that happen to you in this lifetime is from your past. Nothing that you're doing now. See, outcomes we don't control, right? So outcomes are happening, why? Because of your past actions. Your success and failures in life, it is not your doing, because there are so many causes that come together to create the outcome, and therefore it is a past doing, not your present doing. Present doing is an effort in that direction, but the result or outcome is always influenced by the past. That's how it is. So, what else was it? So confession, prayaschitta.
Even the crimes he has done and the prayaschitta both are result of the prarabdha?
No, prayaschitta is always purushakara, right?
Yeah.
Nothing that you can do, like when your human effort can clear adrida.
If prayaschitta is purushakara, even the crimes are purushakara.
Exactly. Yes, yeah. But they have already, the fruits are already accrued, right? They become your sanchita now. So that has to be cleared. Through prayaschitta it will clear. So that will happen, right? So that is agami and all of those things are, so that is what the whole picture is. I wanted to bring something else. Confession, prashchitta. Maybe I'll remember later. That's okay. So now within this karma theory, right? Let us understand. I think we have done only 4 shlokas. So let us understand what Arjuna is asking and what Krishna will say. Right? Arjuna says, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhihi janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojesi keshava. He is saying, see, in the previous chapter you said knowledge is, way above actions. Right? So if that is true, te mata, if that is your opinion, then you should have told me, give up this war, it is useless, you will be getting more agami karma, because now war is what? Ghora karma, right? Ghora karma, that means all the 6 ripus are out in the open. You are hating, you are desiring, your anger is there, jealousy, everything is there, right? All the bad emotions are there. Why ask me to do this when you could have told me, give up, throw your weapons, give up all this, this is useless, this will not take you anywhere. Go in search of wisdom. Take diksha with a guru and get wisdom. If knowledge is really highest and karma is not, you should have told me that, to pursue knowledge. But instead of that, you said that, and now you are telling me, go pursue karma. So Arjuna says, Vyamishrena iva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyaha aham apnuyam. You're saying both. You are also saying karma is a part of gaining wisdom, right? So all the practices, all the sadhana is nothing but karma, right? You have to do karma to attain wisdom. Yes, I understand that. I know that karma is a part of attaining jnana. But I cannot think of any way in which through this war I can attain wisdom. This is ghora karma. In what sense is this a sadhana for me? In what sense will I get knowledge, wisdom through fighting this war where all these bad emotions are, running haywire? I don't understand this. You say this, you say that, but I don't understand what it is. Tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyaha aham apnuyam. Tell me one thing by which Shreyas means, long-lasting good, not just short-term good, right? Which is praise. Short-term good is praise. Long-term good, long-lasting good is Shreyas. Yena Shreyaha aham apnuyam. So Krishna says, okay, I think you have misunderstood. Even though Arjuna is not misunderstood, he is a jnani, but it is basically for us. He is asking all these questions so that he propounds in all these theories so that we, through Vyasa, know this, right? So, Krishna says, it's not like that. What he says, Lokesmin dvividha nishta pura prokta maya anagha. Right? Jnana yogena sankhyanam, karma yogena yoginam. From eternal times, from the past, there are 2 paths always. One is the path of knowledge, right? And again, in the back of the mind, what should you be thinking? I said all the 3 go together. So when Krishna is saying it's a path of knowledge, what does it mean? It means jnana prachura marga, karma prachura marga. Even in Sankhya, where knowledge is more, all the 3 are there. Karma, responsibilities towards societies, take the background. Shama, Dhamma, all of those things take the foreground. This meditation, all of those practices, right? Strict practices, they take the foreground. Right? They are the main things. That becomes, but especially, in the commentaries of people who commented on this, Sankhya is actually marga for the devas, not for the manushas. Manushas are always karma yogis, right? So that interpretation is also there. Sankhya is the path for the devas. Yoga is a path for the manavas. There are 2 things are also there. So in this one, karma is less, knowledge is more. Less in the sense that the responsibilities towards, the roles and responsibilities towards society is not there, but you have more hardships and more different kinds of karmas. where it is like, Shukacharya, Sanaka, and all of those things, Vedavyasa. They are all outside society, but they come, time and again to teach and, show the right path and all of those. Those things are there. But the second marga of yoga is where people who are in society with roles and responsibilities in society, they are going through this karma yoga to attain moksha. Nishtha is moksha. So there are two paths. One through society and one outside it. Right? And for us, I think we should think of one not for us, one for us. Right? Karma yoga is for us. Sankhya is not for us. Right? So then he says, now Krishna says, see, I said karma is not action. Karma is desire. So he's making this clear to Arjuna. He's saying, see, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute na cha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. Exactly what I told you here. That means, if you don't act, right, na karmanam anarambhat, if you don't do anything, right, naishkarmyam purushaha na ashnute. That means, naishkarmyam is mukti. In mukti you do not generate any karma. Right? So naishkarmyam is that state in which you have no karma. That means you are not generating any agami karma, nor you have any prarabdha karma. You are outside nature. So nature cannot grab you. Right? So you cannot attain mukti by not acting. Krishna says, na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. Why?
Because even to just survive, you have to do act.
Exactly. Plus, the sanchita karma is so much that just by one life, if you don't act, you will not become mukta. Right? So that means it is foolish to think that I will not act and I will become mukta. Don't even think. Because I am not saying, by karma I am not meaning actions, I mean desire. Right? That's what he's saying. Nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. Just by letting go or giving up, you do not become a siddhi. You do not attain success in your sadhana. That is not how it works. Then how does it work? He says, and then just to make it more clear, he says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate hi avashaha karma sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. As a matter of fact, Arjuna, he says, karma is by default. Inactivity is not by default. Nature has created every living being to act. It's not to act. So action is by default. Therefore, nahi kaschit kshanamapi, not for one moment, jatu tishtati akarmakrit, can one stay inactive. You might say, I will not act, but there are so many processes that's going in your body. You're doing so many actions. Mind is thinking, right? All of those things are going, even though in your understanding you think I'm not acting, but hey, so many things are happening. So there is no, if you're inactive means you're dead. Right? If you're living, see, prana means what? Prana. Ana means activity. If you have prana, that means you're active. If you're inactive, you don't have prana. That means you're dead. Right? So Krishna is saying that. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Why? Karyate hi avashaha karma sarvam prakriti jaihi gunaihi. That means, this was the discussion 2 classes before, where I said, man is not the cause of his action. We can reconnect. Right? After doing all this karma theory, what do you think? I'm talking about Purushakara. Man is the cause of his action. Then in the previous class I said, man is not the cause of action. So have I lost it? Or is there something is there something bigger there? Right? See, what Krishna is saying is, karyate. What is karyate? Karyate means getting done. It's passive. Right? Through man things are getting done. Krishna says, karyate hi avasha. We don't even have vasha. We don't even have control. By what? Sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. Prakriti is gunas. Sattva rajas tamas. That is doing actions through us. You are not doing anything. Krishna says.
Be like a conduit.
Yeah, but how do you... So, at this point we need to merge those two things. When I said man is not the cause of his actions, and I also said in the karma theory, Purushakara means you cause action. How do you reconcile those two? How do you reconcile those two? How does action happen?
Desire.
Correct. But then how does it translate into action?
That it's not when the control of the man that where he's born, but once he's born, now he has to do action in order to.
No. Even now I am teaching.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I am teaching, but I am really not teaching. That is exactly what Krishna is saying. Prakriti gunas are teaching through me.
That's Deva, right?
No, Daiva, but Purushakara is also there, right? My effort is also there. Daiva is also there. Daiva is, somehow we all got together, that's Daiva. Nobody controlled it.
I guess that's where knowledge comes.
No.
Because it's your choice. You cannot teach right now. But you want to improve your
But-
agami karma, so
No, but even then, I am not doing this actions. See, karyate hi avashaha. That means it is not even in my vasha. That I am doing it is not even in my vasha. I am not even controlling it.
External factor.
No, but it's not prarabdha, right? Always three are acting together. Yeah, hata, purushakara, and prarabdha, both, all the three, or daiva, all the three are acting. But then Krishna is saying, as if only prarabdha is acting. How do you
because that's
reconcile
part
it?
of the God.
No, because, see, what is in your control? What is actually, when I say Purushakara, what exactly does it define? Your desire, your kama, that's all, right? How it translates into action, do you micromanage it or does the body take the care of itself? Do you know that when I desire to, take this bottle, that desire, how it translated into action? No, I desired it, somehow happened. Did I do it? No, I didn't do it. Did I?
Because you can't control the outcome of it. You can just desire it.
No, you cannot control the action of it as well. How can you control the action of it? See, it is like this. I'll give you an example. There is this guy with an office, right? He has an assistant who will bring the files to that person, right? He says, I want to see this date, this time, this file. It will come in front of him. He doesn't know how that assistant worked, where he went, what he did, and brought the file. All he knows is he desired, and that is there. Did he bring the file himself, or what? What did he actually do? He desired. How did the file came in front of him? That is Prakriti, right? So Prakriti and Purusha, they are always together. Purusha only desires. Prakriti does. Right? This is exactly what Krishna is saying.
So you have to have the right desires?
No, exactly.
Yes.
No, not just right desire. What you control is desire. Or you can,
Okay, so
right?
yes.
Right? So when I say Purushakara is the cause, Purushakara is nothing but what you desire. Right?
So what you desire also is Prakriti, right?
No, what you desire.
Thoughts.
No, it expresses through your thoughts. They are all the instruments through which you express it. But desire is your true self. What you desire is what you are, not what you act, what you desire. He'll make that clear in the next sloka. But what you desire is what you are, not what you act. What you desire is Purushakara. Actions is not in the. You do not micromanage action. You do not know how my hand went up and down. I don't know. I don't know which muscles are working and which nerves are working. But all I know is I desired, and for some reason it's working. And one day when it stops working, I don't know how to start back. Because I never controlled it, so I will never be able to control it. Right? So that means Purusha is desiring, Prakriti is acting based on the desire. Right? So, what does karyate hi avashaha karma sarvam prakriti jaihi gunaihi means? Action is always done by Prakriti. This body is actually a machine. It is physical processes that's going on. What we bring into the picture is desiring, which that desire steers the body and actions in one way or the another. But actions are very independent to the body itself, not to the Atma. Atma has no actions. Atma only has desires. Do you understand what Krishna is saying here? Karyate hi avashaha karma sarvam prakriti jaihi gunaihi. The prakriti gunas, right, are creating actions. We have no idea how those are happening. We do not cause it. What we cause is, I desired it, and the body reacted to that desire and formed all those muscular actions and all of those things to make things happen. Right? One day I desire and all of those things don't work. That means Manasika karma is still there. Daihika karma is not there, because Daihika karma was always Prakriti doing it. In the case of this guy in the office, who for some reason thinks just by desiring, file will come, will one day realize, he'll say, I want this file, and nothing comes in front of him.
So is this reinforcing the concept of separation between Deha and Atma?
Exactly. Yes. Atma can only desire. And that too, desire through a Deha. Right? Only Hata is there. Atma is like a seed, right? You need to put it on in the land and water it, then whatever is in the seed will come out, right? But everything that comes out is all part of nature. Nothing is part of Atma. That is exactly what it is. What Atma does is, it's like steering wheel. It is steering the body, but everything in the body is a physical process going on. Your manas, your buddhi, your chitta, ahankara, everything is physical processes going on. Right? That is avasha means that. Avasha, prakriti jai gune. Avasha also means in the greater sense, because in this chapter it will come, paramatma vashat. That means eventually all actions are happening through God. Through God, through prakriti and man. Right? And there's a very beautiful, I think it is in Jnaneshwari or something, or one of those commentaries. Prakriti and Jiva and Paramatma, all the three, I think all are probably not the three. It's like a man is milking the cow, right? So who produced them? See, the udder is Prakriti, right? The cow is the udder is Prakriti. That means the physical process. The actor. You cannot say I produce the milk, right? It's like there is a cow, there is a physical process of the cow, and then there is an actor. All the three coming together. So I don't recall it exactly that way, but it talks about how Prakriti, Jiva, and Paramatma, all of them are there. Eventually, Paramatma is the one who through Prakriti is acting on the Jiva. So that is what will come in this. We'll study in this chapter. But for now, Prakriti Jai Gunahi is for Prakriti. Acting is only Prakriti. What Prakriti does. Desiring is what we do. Right? So Prarabdha is the experience that the past has brought. Purushakara is the desires that we generate now. Hata is the long-standing desires that come from the very being nature that we are. Right? All the three come together and they produce action. Right? So when that is true, Krishna says in Sloka 6, Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmaran, right? Indriyarthan vimudatma mityacharasya uchyate. So what Krishna is telling Arjuna is, do not mistake or confuse actions, karma that I meant, with just bare actions. What I meant by karma is desires, not actions. So he says, that being so, one who karmendriyani samyamya, karmendriyas are 5 pancha karmendriyas, right? 5 karmendriyas, one who controls the karmendriyas, right? But ya aste manasasmaran, but in the mind, he desires. Outside, I don't want big cars. Then inside, I want a Mercedes Benz. So outside, to the outside world, this guy is a Mahajnani, right? Inside, he wants all the desires that nobody, even those, they don't have that, right? Ya aste manasasmaran, right? Indriya arthan, that means all the sense objects. He wants all the sense objects. He wants all the comforts in the mind. But outside, he wants to project himself as a sannyasi, right? Mityacharasa, vimudatma, that means he's a confused person. He's a fool, he's saying, right? Mityacharasya uchyate. That is really mityachara. Mithya is, it is like a duplicitous. It is no phala. No, that means if actions were described as actual activity, that would have been correct. Because actions are here, right? That means what you desire here is important, not what you are doing. Krishna is telling Arjuna, what you do here is important. That is what karma is. What you do here is just an expression of what you have here. Right? Exactly. So he says, then he says, what the correct way is, yastu indriyani manasa niyamya. Right? Yastu indriyani manasa niyamya aravate arjuna karmendriyaihi karma yogam asaktaha savishishyate. See, manasa niyamya. The manas should be the desire to control the senses should come from within, and when you control your actions through the desires of the mind, and then you are unattached to the fruits of the outcome, then savishishyate, that is sadhana, that is special, that is sadhana. Not just acting like you are a sannyasi and having all the desires in the mind. Because the Shastra says, manasaiva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. It means, what is the difference between bandha and moksha? Manas. How your mind thinks is the difference between whether you are liberated or imprisoned in nature. Manasaiva manushyanam karanam. That's what Krishna is saying. Hey, by actions, I didn't mean actions. I meant actions here. I meant desires in the mind. When you set this right, don't worry about everything else. It will all set right. Set this right first. Right? So, yastu indriyani manasa niyamya arabate arjuna karmendriyaihi karma yogam sapartha vishishyate. That person is actually doing sadhana. So, close of the topic. He says, finally, niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hi akarmanaha sharira yatra pite na prasidhyed akarmanaha. He says, you have to always do your karma which you are responsible for, where you are born. Right? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Niyatam means whatever your roles and responsibilities are, always do that. Why? Because number one, you cannot exhaust by inactivity. Number two, inactivity is itself not a default. Activity is default. Therefore, there is no way you can be inactive. You have to act. Therefore, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Do not misunderstand that by karma you can attain moksha. No, it is through your manas that you can attain. Right? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Why? Karma jyayohi akarmanaha. Activity is always greater than being inactive. Passivity. Right? Activity is always greater than passivity. Hey, come to think of it. Sharira yatrapi te na prasidhyet akarmanaha. If you are inactive, you cannot even maintain the body. Sharira yatra, you have hunger, you have all those things. You have to eat, you have to do so many things. You have to be active for that. You cannot even live a life if you are inactive. Therefore, don't even think about that. That's ignorance. The reality is, action is fundamental. So you should always act. End of story. So whatever Krishna said, whatever Arjuna said, knowledge and actions, right? Krishna said all these things and finally said, you have to act. There is no way sadhana has inactivity in it. Sadhana is always activity. Right? Then, I think we have about 20 minutes, he introduces a very critical, important concept. Right? And he says, Yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Then he says, agami karma. Right? He says, yajna arthat karmanaha anyatra lokaha ayam karma bandhana. That means, all the karmas, if it is not a part of yajna, they will always be bandhakas. It means they will always imprison you in sanchita karma. There will always be agami karma. That means there is the only way not to generate an agami karma is to make your karma a part of yajna. That means what? You should always be sitting in front of fire and doing the rituals. No? Yajna. What is yajna?
It's an offering. It's an offering.
Doing your work well is also yajna.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, so that means yajna doesn't mean a narrow sense of a ritual or a fire ritual. No, it's not that. Yajna is so many things. Right? That is what Krishna is going to talk about in this chapter. Right? So what Krishna is saying is, whatever karma that you do now, you have two options. One is, it can generate agami karma. If it is not a part of yajna, you can act and still not generate any agami karma if it is not part of this thing, yajna. But reconnect from your past, the previous chapter. That action which has desires will create agami karma. If you have sattvic desire, we went this rajasic desire and sattvic desire. If you desire wisdom, that does not become your agami karma, right? It's a good you need to have good constructive desires. When we say should not have bad desires, we mean do not have bad desires, that is destructive desires, right? Because why? Desire is part of the mind. If you have no desires, that means you have no mind. That means you don't exist. You're dead. Right? So you always have desire. Just like karma is default, karma is also default. Right? So that means whether you have constructive karmas or destructive karmas, that's what Krishna is. When we say, when Gita says, do not have karma, it means do not have karma that imprison you or destroys you. Always, cultivate karmas that actually helps you, right? Liberates you. So that should be there, right? So now, Krishna is saying, so now we studied that, right? So if you have sattvika karmas, it does not become agami karmas, right? You do not have agami karmas. Only with rajasika and tamasika, you have agami karmas. Now again Krishna is saying, if it is a part of yajna, then you have no agami karma. You have to bring all of these together, right? In this chapter that happens. Right? Not having desire or having sattvic desires and being a part of yajna, all of these come together in karma yoga. This is the karma yoga. Now, we need to look at the concept of yajna, which is central, and then look at the concept of desire and all of this, how it comes in yajna. So since you answered that question, so you all know yajna doesn't mean a narrow sense of, a fire ritual, right? It's not that. Yajna is something much bigger than that. So now the question is, before we deal with yajna, I want to introduce another concept here, so that, because yajna is the central concept of Hindu dharma. Right? Yajna is the central concept of Hindu dharma, within which Hindu dharma is defined through yajna. So I will describe that, and we'll talk about that, and then we compare it with other religions, and then we take yajna in the next class, right? So now let's compare dharma with religion. Okay? So I said yajna is the center of dharma. Now, what is the center of religion? I'll have to write that down. See, let's do this, okay? So let's say this is man and God. And actually man, God and universe. Right? So, you can describe the relationship between man, God and universe with many phenomena, one of which is religion. Right? One of which is religion. Religion describes the relationship between man, God and universe. Hindu dharma is another way of doing it. So I will say dharma is another way of doing it. And there may be another variety of ways of doing it which we don't know. Right? All we know is this. Right? So what is the central template of a religion?
Belief.
Right? So, let me take this off here. So, if you call this religion, and this is the template of a religion, what comes in the middle? What is the core of a religion? Belief system, right? This is faith. Right? This is a template for religion. Then what is the faith that makes Christianity a religion? Where, they have the creed, right? I have to believe that Jesus is the Son of Christ. Or at the end of days He comes back. And all of those things are there, right? It's called Nicene Creed or something. So there are 2 or 3 things, right? if you are a Christian, you have to believe in that. Right? Otherwise, you cannot say, yes, I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in Jesus Christ. No. You are a Christian because you believe in it. That means you have faith. You have beliefs in it. So that makes you Christian. Then, you can take that off and then add, Ya ilaha illallah. That means there is no God but one God. That is one belief. Muhammad is his prophet. That's another belief. And then there is something else. So 1, 2, 3. If you believe in that, you become a Muslim. You cannot say, I'm a Muslim, but I don't think I believe in Muhammad. You cannot. Then you are not a Muslim. Right? Then Judaism is Christianity in a very narrow sense. Or I should say, Christianity is Judaism in a wider sense. They just expanded Judaism. Judaism is God made a covenant with man, which is a tribe of Israelites.
There were a set of rules.
A set of rules. Follow these 10 commandments and I will, deliver you. Otherwise, you will burn in hell. So there is a contract. So Judaism is a contract between man and God. If you keep the contract, then He will deliver you. Otherwise, you will burn in hell or you will suffer. Right? So that if you believe in that there is a contract between man and God, if you believe that, then you are a Jew. Right? They believe in that. They believe that the Jews have a contract with God. Right? So these are all central faith. They are faith. So a religion at its core always has faith. Now let's come to Hindu Dharma. Right? I will put this in the same template. Okay, what is the creed of Hindu Dharma? What do we believe? Okay, I'll ask you in a different way. When you were young, what did your mother say that you should believe to be a Hindu?
God is everything. Traditions.
So, and every day you used to say that? Remember, I'm talking about creed. That means you are not a Hindu if you don't think that. What is the faith that your mother said? If you don't say that,
Prayers.
you will never be a Hindu. No, it's not prayers. Faith. A sentence of faith. What is your faith? What is your creed? You have to think so much.
Everything is like God.
Yeah.
Everything is under God control.
No.
But
Your mother told you, if you don't believe that, you are going to hell. Did she tell you? No. See, the very fact, right?
No. Sorry.
Right? So the very fact that you cannot even, recall or think about an experience in your whole life,
That's right.
right? Tells you what? The phenomenon that we have is not religion. Right? You can see, you can have Hindus who say, I'm a Hindu, but you know what? I don't believe in rebirth. I think there's only one life. Oh. And there are some people who say, Hindus, we believe in even in atheism. Right? So, even though, whenever we say we believe in, we are putting Hindu Dharma in this template. Because for Christians, Muslims and Judaism, you should always tell your religion in terms of belief. Because that's what they understand, right? If you are a Hindu, if an American is talking to you, hey, Amog, what is your belief? That's exactly what he's going to ask. Right? And then you'll have to think, what am I believing? I don't,
What is what?
Exactly, right? So the very fact that you have to think for 5 minutes to come up, or, to cook up actually, to cook up something and say, yeah, I believe this, I believe this, I put this in the bindi because I believe in all of those things. So you have to cook up. And that's why there are 100 versions of that, right? Some think, your knowledge goes out, therefore you have to put bindi. Some think, your chakra has to be, all of those things are there, right? So the very fact that there is no uniformity of answer, the very fact that when I ask you, all of you were rolling your eyes, tells you what?
There is no
Hindu Dharma is not something which is in this template. Right? That means Hindu Dharma is not a religion. Right? That is why we don't have a core belief. We don't have a core belief. There is no core set of beliefs. Then what do we have? What is core? Right? Our template is, this is karma. And I call this tradition. So, there is a religion. The the relationship between man, God and universe, you can express it as a religious phenomenon. When you express that, then you have to state your beliefs. What do I believe in? What is my creed? Or in a set of actions that come through traditions. You are a Hindu because you follow the rituals and actions of a Hindu. That is why you can say, I'm a Hindu, but I do not believe in rebirth. Then how are you a Hindu? What makes you... See, the question, what makes you a Hindu, is so puzzling, nobody can answer. Because there is no belief that makes you a Hindu. Right? The question itself is fault. Right? It's like, what is the smell of red color? You have to think, what is the smell of red color? The question itself is wrong. Right? So that is exactly what, when you say, what is the belief of Hindu religion, that is exactly what you're asking. You should say, no, we do not, belief comes somewhere. Belief is there, bhakti, faith, bhakti is there, right? Bhakti, astikya bhava and all of see. What is the Sanskrit name for belief? If belief is so, faith is there, what is the Sanskrit equivalent of faith? Because the word should be there, right? If there is a concept, there should be a word. What is faith in Sanskrit? Not bhakti. Bhakti is love. Right? Love that you show for somebody bigger than you is bhakti.
Vishwas?
No.
Karma?
No, faith. What is faith? See, the sense in which the religions use it, the word is astikya bhava. Astikya. Right? Astika, nastika. Nasti, asti. Right? God exists, doesn't exist. Faith is that. Existence of something beyond our sense. See, even that is actually, asti means that there are some things that is beyond what we can see and feel. That is asti. Nasti. Nastika means, not an atheist. Nastika means one who thinks there is nothing beyond what we can see and feel. But he only thinks that what we can see and feel are what exists in the world. That is Nastika. Astika says there is something beyond that too. Right? That's the whole picture. So now, when somebody asks you what is the belief of Hindus, what do you say?
The question is wrong.
Do good things.
The question is wrong. Right? The question is wrong. No, we don't believe. I have puzzled so many people who have asked me that question, at work and my friends and all that. You don't believe, so you're an unbeliever. No, I'm not. It's just because I do not fit into any of the categories that they think. It's like, if you know red, white and blue, I say I'm saffron. Oh, is it red? No, I'm not. It's not red. Is it white? No. Is it blue? No. Is it colorless? No. I'm saffron. They don't even know saffron, right? So if you know only a few options, you think if this is not the option, the other one is, right?
So basically religion is black or white and for most of the people. And
correct. No, it's not black or white. It's more like it's a certain phenomenon. But that is not universal, right? But look at what has happened. See, West went about in the last 500 years and they have studied Hindu dharma, they studied all the dharmas, right? And they've always asked the question, what makes Hindus Hindus? A set of beliefs, right? So that is what we have owned ourselves, right? We have never questioned anybody. No, we don't have any beliefs. We have tried to answer in this template. Right? We've always tried to put Hindu Dharma in this template and serve it to them. Oh, that's what they understand. Even though you never once thought, why does it take me so long a time to actually recall something of a creed? Then you would have even thought about that and said, you see, I should have read all the scriptures when I was a young guy. I didn't do anything. At least now in America I can do that. Right? 100% you know gone there, right? So that's the thing. But the fact is, you ask your grandfather, he would have done the same thing. Right? Everybody, unless, they have not, what the problem is, we did not compare the phenomenon of Christianity with Hindu Dharma.
We have a visitor from HSS
Huh?
who would like people to participate in the Dharam B or something for the kids.
Okay.
So just 5 minutes.
Yeah, give
Once you are done,
Yeah.
we will be waiting out.
Sure.
Just let us know.
Okay, yeah. 5 more minutes, okay? So once you see, that's why in Indian, if you look at Indian history, there was a destruction of intellectual class, right? When Muslim invasion happened, right? At that time, classes like this was in every part of India, right? Intellectual life was very, thriving. A lot of varieties of thinking. People were questioning and all of those things. When that was destroyed, what happens? Your gas pedal is gone. You're moving only with the momentum that you had before, right? One day it's going to stop, right? So then, when you don't have something, intellectual life, thriving, asking questions, making theories about economics, and all of those things, in an Indian way, then whatever the other guy says, you parrot it, right? They'll say, oh, you have a belief? Oh, I think I have a belief, I don't know. Then you start talking in terms of beliefs and all that. Oh, I believe in this, I believe in that. You never for once thought, okay, let me study him and see what makes him blind to my phenomena. Maybe then I can say, hey, you know what? You only know 3 colors, but I'm the 4th color. Right? Why didn't people do that? Right? Because of the destruction of the intellectual class, during the Muslim invasions. Right? And then when the British came, everybody they were parroting. The British thought, you know what? They don't even know the meaning of Vedas. They parrot Vedas. When then somebody went and asked, okay, what is the meaning? I don't know. I don't know what it means. Or there were 100 meanings in all of things. Even though there was some I shouldn't say there's no intellectual life. There were pockets of intellectual life. But, people basically gave very, different varieties of answer. Nobody questioned them. They let us be questioned. And then finally thought, okay, if they are saying we have belief, then probably we should have belief. Maybe I don't know. Right? So that is what happened. Unless you have an intellectual, understanding of Gita, you will not be able to question them about what they are doing. You cannot say, hey, you are blind because you think in these terms. You know what? I am not this. I am this. Which you will never understand. Right? So that you can question only when you know Gita as relevant today. Not as relevant as a museum. Gita can be a museum. Right? When you go in front of it and say, you keep it in your puja room, and then every day you pray for it. What happens? Nothing. You will not get anything, right? Gita is a text for all times. You have to prove it's a text for all times. If it's relevant for today, then it should have some things that's relevant for today, right? So that is what we need to know. That's what, the class, what we are doing is we are taking this Gita and making it relevant today. Because what Krishna is saying, if you take the terms of Sanskrit terms, demystify it, it means things that we actually experience in life today. It's not something that Arjuna or Krishna were experiencing at that time. It's for all the ages, right? So to know that, you need to understand how these phenomena work. And this is where Yajna comes. I wrote karma here, but this is Yajna. That's what central. The central core of Hindu Dharma is Yajna. So what Yajna is and all of those things, we will see in 2 weeks. But when you leave the class today, you should be very clear. If somebody asks you, what do you believe in? What is your answer?
Wrong question.
Wrong question, right? Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Om